Have you ever wanted to make a greater impact on others using your gifts and superpowers? Have you ever felt like you have so much more that you could be offering, but you're not sure how to make a real or lasting impact? Or maybe you're wondering how to turn your talents into something that genuinely changes lives. If that's you, you are in the right place. Part of becoming a giver, as we like to refer to it as, the V in giver stands for creating lasting, vivid value. So today, what I want to do is I want to break down the 7 most powerful ways I can think of that you can create vivid value using your gifts and superpowers. This is going to be extremely important if you are on that path of personal or professional development and you're trying to take gifts and talents and skills and develop them into superpowers because you want to make a greater impact. You have to find ways to create the right kind of value to others that can make that sort of impact, and how to give it to them at the right time. But I know many of us, including myself over the years, struggle to find what's the most effective, efficient ways, what's the best ways to apply my gifts and superpowers to others and not make it weird. So these 7 ideas, techniques, whatever, the powerful ways to create vivid value, I'm going to share are going to help you to get past that. Now, before we dive into that, I want to cover a few things with you. If you're not already doing so, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment your thoughts along the way. Of course, you can follow us along the way. You can also check us out at thegivermethod.com. You can check us out on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, all of the places that you might expect to find someone like us. So, my name is Jake, and I am the founder and chief giver over at The Giver Method. And at The Giver Method, we are focused on helping individuals like yourselves to discover and develop their gifts and superpowers, and identify who is the right group of people or who's the right type of person to influence and to create impact and intentional influence on, so that you could then go and create value for them, which is why we're talking about this today. And then, of course, knowing that each engagement you have will be more effective and people will show up more eager to be there with you. The results of that are going to be what we call relationship riches, which, should be pretty self-explanatory, increase in relationship. And then as you're giving your gifts and superpowers, as you provide value and you ask for nothing in return, you're trying to just make a greater impact, the universe finds a way to pay you back. It always does. Not that it's going to happen every single time, but I have found that the people I work with who start to do that, things just start to happen for the benefit for them. So the result of all that, of course, is that once you become a giver, you're able to truly transform lives with your gifts and superpowers, create greater impact, better connections, and have more fulfillment, hopefully on the path of becoming who it is that you want to become. If you weren't aware, we are getting ready to start one of our 8-week online Giver Academy groups. Okay, now this is going to be your chance to be in a very small group, only 5 to 7 people, and working with myself in that atmosphere so that you can dive deeper into identifying and developing your gifts and superpowers. You can be learning how to overcome fears and obstacles that may get in the way, discovering how to create more value like we are here, be connected with like-minded individuals, and once again, that kind of more personalized guidance to help you unlock your full potential. So if you are wanting to move forward on your journey towards becoming a giver and an impact maker, this is the type of thing you're going to look into. And so if that is you, all you have to do is send us an email to info@thegivermethod.com with the subject line, I'm ready. And we'll send you more details about when it's starting, costs, other things that you may have questions around. To that end, someone I truly look up to is an author named Hal Elrod. He wrote a book called Miracle Morning, amazing book. And he has said it perfectly. I'm going to read it because I don't want to mess up his words because I think they're so great. He said, "When you live your life in alignment with a purpose that is centered around selfless, adding value for others, opportunities become abundant and your life becomes fulfilled." When I read that for the first time, I was like, oh my gosh, he hit on it perfectly. So don't miss out on your chance to become a giver and see the types of return that the universe is waiting to give you, because people are waiting to be able to take value from you, from your gifts and superpowers. So look at this as your call to make a change. So now back to what we were originally talking about. Let's dive into the 7 powerful ways that you can create more value, vivid value, using your gifts and superpowers. The first thing that you want to do is you want to understand the essence of what is vivid value, okay? Value should be pretty straightforward. You're trying to create, some sort of an impact, provide value to others. Now, vivid, when you hear vivid, I always think of the concept of like clear, bright, beautiful, strong, impactful. Like, it is so clear what you're providing them. And so this will take some work on your end, where you're going to need to sit down and you're going to need to make sure that you identify, well, what is the value that people are wanting? Now, you're going to want to focus heavily on the power of the feelings and the emotions and the empathy that comes with all that. So understanding that I want to create vivid value that's so clear to the right type of people. So who are those people? What are they looking for? And how can I do this or say this in a way that is so crystal clear to them that they love every minute of it? Number 2, which can go kind of with number 1, you can intermix them, whatever. These aren't in necessarily any specific order. If you have not already done so, you need to sit down, identify, write down your gifts and superpowers. What are they? And what does it actually look like when you're giving it? Because this is so important. So many people don't take the time to do that. That's why the first part of everything we do in our book, The GIVER Method, is a part of our workshops, anything like that, is we got to get that stuff out on paper. So if you have not done that, you have to get it out there. And you have to do a little bit of self-reflection. You may need to get some feedback from others on what they see it as. But you're going to want to define them out and be able to find the ways you can give them to others. And that could be things like, I've got the best, I help people to break down complex problems and make them simple and easy to understand. It may be some sort of a technical related thing. It could be emotionally, like empathy and helping people to see who they truly can become. Whatever that thing may be, write them down and how you believe those could show up into the world, okay? And then, of course, that moves us into number 3, which is you need to be able to tailor your approach for maximum impact. So as you think about these gifts and superpowers, and you start to think about the right people to give them to, we need to think about how can we adapt them in different ways? How can we adapt them in different places, in different scenarios, different engagement opportunities? You want to make sure that you're personalizing it. Sometimes the way you would give your gifts or superpower will provide value to others if it was a one-to-one engagement versus you in front of a group. That may change what you're saying, how you'd show up in order to make sure that they see that value from you. So the small gestures that you can do in each of these engagements are going to have massive impact in comparison to trying to come up with the grand display of your value. Now think of it in bite-sized chunks. And then that way you could easily start to adapt it into different scenarios, different situations, or wherever a conversation or engagement may lead you. The fourth thing is where I talk about it all the time, you have to move beyond recognition to the actions you take. So we always say you have to give without asking for anything in return. You seek these opportunities, you look for those. When you engage with others and you look for how you can serve their needs, not how they're going to serve you back. Now, that's going to require you to, in many cases, step out of a comfort zone, but truly creating value at that point by saying, I'm just looking to serve you. I'm looking to up-level you, help you, serve your needs, your emotions, your whatever it may be. Trust me that when you do that, you will notice that there will be more opportunities for you to give your gifts and superpowers, and you're going to see returns that just come back without expecting them. So the fifth most powerful thing, or fifth way of using that, whatever it may be, is that you need to build trust and credibility. Now, what I mean by that is that you need to be creating opportunities, creating places where you're giving your gifts and superpowers. As you showcase them over time, people are going to start to see it being implemented. Now, that may be that you don't just bust into your next team meeting at work and go, this is my gifts and superpowers. No, like slowly start to pepper them in. We don't want to shell shock people by being on this path of personal development and thinking that they're in the same place that you are with what you're trying to work on. So you build that trust and credibility over time. You use storytelling, you can use imagery, you can use all sorts of ways to create that sort of an impact. But if you want to create effective influence in that sort of a way, it's something that just is part of your being every single day. so that people see that change and they start to turn to you for that sort of help. The sixth thing is that you need to create sustainable and long-term impact. So I talk about it all the time. There's reflecting, journaling, thinking back. You have to be doing some self-discovery along the way in order to make sure that you're growing. Well, you also need to be able to set consistent efforts and strategic plans that help you to do that. You don't want to get burned out with your gift or superpower. You don't want to be burned out in any sort of way. And you want to also be thinking of what I do today. I may not see that they see the return, that it may not impact them right this moment, but I'm looking at that ripple effect and how that plays out over time, and that the small actions I do can have lasting change. It's not the grand, gestures. It's the small things that can truly have lasting change on individuals. And in many cases, we don't actually know the full impact it will have because it's something that has such a ripple effect. And the seventh way, of course, is that you need to empower others through your giving. There's a self-reliance piece that comes into play here. And so we want to empower others, not make them dependent on you. You want to equip them with tools and skills that they can navigate their challenge. You want to help them understand this concept of a ripple effect and creating positive change. How do we instill those things into them? Because then they change, and then they can change people around them in their lives, and so on and so forth. And it just creates this amazing, lasting ripple effect that, once again, we'll never truly understand everything, how impactful it was, but you know that you are creating those positive vibes and changes in the world. Like I've said, it's not about the grand gestures. It's not about having the most extraordinary talents or gifts or superpowers, but it is about being consistent in using your gifts and doing it in a clear way, in a strong way, in a very present way that's going to have a lasting impact. Now, we've explored that through the GIVER method when we focus on vivid value without expectation. You're not only going to be able to transform people's lives, but you're also going to have a much more personal touch and see personal growth and fulfillment from that. So I challenge you to think about these 7 ways and identify those ways that you could start implementing those strategies. Maybe it's just one of the 7 that you pick that starts to make an impact. Maybe you have to try a couple out in order to see which one works best for you. But you might be surprised at how much a difference it makes when you are truly focused on creating vivid value and impactful value along the way. Now, if you, once again, are ready to dive deeper into understanding your gifts and creating vivid value, do not forget that we've got the GIVER Academy, that 8-week online group workshop that's going to be starting soon. And we're looking for 5 people to join that group. And so if you are interested in that, if that's something you potentially want to learn more about, then just send an email to info@thegivermethod.com. Once again, that's info@thegivermethod.com. Once again, if you haven't already, follow the channel, like this, leave a comment on what your thoughts were, share it with someone who might need it. Thank you so much. Remember that you have unique gifts that are in you. You are ready to start creating vivid value and lasting value in the world. So let's start sharing them. Let's start giving out more into the world. Believe in yourself and believe in where you are going and the path that you are on, because I want to see you get there, and I want to see the impact and how much of an impact that can make in the people around you's lives. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully we'll catch you on the next one. We'll see you soon.